Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today is Sunday, the 12th of May, 2024. Today's video, I decided to call it The Behavior of the Prophet of Islam. Uh, when we see a behavior of any particular person on display, we get some feeling about the background of this person and the environment where he was raised. If this person in his the way he speaks or she speaks, it says it speaks volume about the background of this person. I decided to speak about the behavior of the prophet or the founder of Islam because we are trying to show the truth to everybody. Unfortunately, or probably fortunately for me, when I was like 15, 16 years old, I figured out that this person not for me. I could see that, I'm sorry, you have to be mentally distorted to accept what he is saying. Uh, so I left. I thought this is not for me. I'm not going to waste my time on this nonsense. I left. I did whatever I needed to do in life and I carried on with my life. However, with the coming of the internet to people's life and with all the social media that it has been invented, starting by YouTube and Facebook and so on and so forth, uh, information has become very easy to find out things about other people. And that's when I started to see very few people uh, who are like myself, left this nonsense and didn't pay attention to it. However, some took different trend and they studied it in depth and they started to speak out. And this was the time when I decided to do the same thing. And because I am from the same culture, I know the language, I started to read for myself. And things that when I left Islam, I didn't read so much of it, but from the beginning, it was just hard to believe or accept this nonsense. So I didn't think it's wise to waste time on it, and I left. Unfortunately, many people are deceived, and the reason is they never read in this book or in these books of Islamic ideology. They never read. And when they read, they leave. Uh, I'm going to speak about this later, uh, or maybe I can speak about it now in the beginning. Uh, in the beginning, when the social media started, I could see that people like myself who left this nonsense and they started to study on their own and they started to bring this message to people that this is not really good ethics. And in the Quran, in um, I can put this in the description box. It says that the Prophet of Allah is on high level of ethic. And when I examine his life, if this is the high ethics, if this is the good morality, if this is the goodness of a human being, what is bad then? How does the bad look like? Um, so many of us, people like myself, started to speak. However, recently I found out that, for example, a man who studied, he was an imam of a mosque, and he studied this Islamic religion for 26 years. I mean, it wasn't his field, but somehow he felt inspired to study the religion and teach. And he did that for 26 years. And suddenly he came to a point he couldn't reconcile what he's reading with his human nature. And almost like at the age of, I don't know his age exactly, but like at least 65, an older man. In this age, he decided, I cannot deceive myself. I cannot accept this. And with all this wealth of knowledge, 26 years of his life he spent in reading and studying this stuff. And he's not a stupid man. He's extremely intelligent. He comes out and he has a TikTok account. I don't have TikTok, as I just found out, because some people, after he speaks on TikTok, they take his, or he himself, I'm not sure, he will put his uh, speech on YouTube. And when I saw that, I was surprised. With all that wealth of knowledge, he is speaking and he has a live debate with people. And all of the people are trying to defend the faith and the founder. He just destroys their foundation in seconds. Because the only thing they resort to is to curse him, uh, use very abusive language because they can't get him physically. They can chop his head off as they have done previously. So they resort to cursing and anger. But on the other hand, some when they hear him, they say, how could I have been deceived for so many years? And they leave. And later on, I found that he's not the only person doing that live show on TikTok, but many. I myself, I don't have TikTok account, and I don't think I will have TikTok account because it's actually monitored by the Chinese government. I don't want that. So, but I watch whoever puts his uh, lectures on YouTube. I am amazed. And it's not only him. With the internet, that was a curse on this ideology. The coming of the internet era, that was the beginning of the destruction of this ideology. And this man and others like him are publicly challenging the main leaders to come out and debate them publicly. And none dare until now to come to respond to what he has to say. And the reason is very obvious. They cannot defend this nonsense. So all that we see is a commoner, like common people who are really, very few really are well educated. You can tell from their speech. They're coming to defend because nobody else to do it. Coming to defend, but it's in vain. It's not working. It's not working. And sooner or later, somebody has to respond to this man. This I can liken it to, let's say, Catholic. The Catholic faith is the largest denomination in Christianity. Let's say the second man to the Pope rebel and challenge the Pope that Catholicism is wrong, and he challenges him publicly. If the Pope does not respond to that challenge, it means he is already defeated. He cannot answer to this man. So he preferred to stay quiet. He's already defeated. And this man is challenging the highest authority in Islam. And he has the knowledge of 26 years of study to back up what he's saying, and others like him. Anyway, let's check the good behavior of the Prophet of Allah. We start with Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr is the first Caliphate, the first disciple of the founder of Islam, and that was in a situation when the Muslims negotiating with the people of Mecca. After they left Mecca and they went to Medina, migrated to Medina, they were negotiating to go and visit the Black Building to do something similar to Hajj, to visit that. It's called Umrah, to visit this building. So they were negotiating, and it's a long hadith. I will put it in the description box. And they told one man told the founder of Islam, be careful, because these people, this gang around you can leave you at any moment alone and you will be in big trouble. So Abu Bakr stood up, the first Caliphate and the first disciple of the Prophet of Allah stood up, and he told this person, I'm sorry in the expression, but I have this, what he said, go and suck on the glitter of Allat. Allat was one of the idols that the Arabs used to visit as one of the gods in Arabia. It was a female god, so it's goddess, and her name was Allat, and therefore Abu Bakr, the first disciple of the Prophet and the most trusted, and he became the first Caliphate, told this man, go and suck the glitter of Allat. Allat, by the way, is a female of Allah, the wife of Allah, probably, I'm not sure. And the name of the Prophet of Allah, his father was named Abdullah. They say, I don't know exactly, but his father's name, Abdullat. Lat is the goddess. He's the slave of this goddess Allat. And not to cause embarrassment, the Muslim later on changed it from slave of Allat, Abdullat, to Abdullah. So now the father of the Prophet of Islam, his name is Abdullah instead of Abdullat, the goddess. Anyway, it's not an important thing, but let's clear up these things. So he told the first disciple of the Prophet of Islam, told this man, go and suck the buzzer of Allat. I'm sorry, the glitter of Allat. Buzzer, that's in Arabic. The glitter of Allat. Okay, we could say somebody may argue this is the disciple and that's his manners, and he's not a good person. He's not he's not the Prophet himself. He's not very good, so forget. Okay, the Prophet himself, there's hadith. I'm going to leave it also in the description box. Two people, two men, went to visit him in his home, and they spoke with him for a while, and then he became angry, and he cursed them, uh, and called them names, and he kicked them out. And his wife Aisha, the young girl that he married when she was 9 years old, she asked him, "What happened? You cursed them. You called them names, and you cursed them." He said, "Don't worry. I had a condition with Allah that whomever I curse, he will make it to heaven, as if God will give these two guys extra 72 virgin or something, because the Prophet of Allah cursed them." Anyway, that is the manner and the behavior of the Prophet of Allah. Is that good? I leave it for you to respond. Okay, there is another hadith, and it says, I'll also put it in the description box. It says, whoever takes pride in what was before Islam, which they call Jahiliyyah, whoever speaks good of or well of this era, tell him to go to bite on his father's penis. And he didn't say penis, he said the most vulgar word that you can use to express the word penis. And he followed up and he said, say it as is. Don't use the polite word for the man's sexual organ. Use the most vulgar and don't be shy about it. That is the Prophet of Allah. And these are the disciples of the Prophet of Allah. This is the education that came to us generation after generation to learn to be uh, the best of people. Huh? There's a Quranic verse, it says, I'm sorry, I will think of it, Antum al-A'laun. It's like, you are of the highest status people. Huh? You are the best of the best. And I'm not sure why a Muslim person does not think the best because of what? What did Muslim offer to humanity? At the time of the Prophet, the founder of Islam, what did they offer other than the sword and killing, stealing, and raping? And today we live in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, uh, many Islamic countries. They are fighting, and when they fight in the name of Allah. And what is the consequence? Even in Israel today, it is not because of the land. It's a holy war. Huh? It's a religious war. They won't take over, not just Gaza or Israel from the river to the sea. No, this is a step. They are still, if you speak with Muslims who are traditional Muslim, they are still thinking how to make it back to Spain, because they conquer Spain and continue march on to the rest of Europe, conquer America, conquer East and West. Huh? And whoever does not obey us, we will kill the men, we will rape the women, and we will take the booties. All the wealth will be ours. This is what Islam offered. So for those who are still deceived, listen, I have many family members. Unfortunately, they are very, very well educated, but it's either they don't study or they study with keeping that holy hat on top of that Islam is holy. As this man, he was wearing this hat for so many years, 26 years of his life. He's trying to convince himself that this is holy. It's a holy religion. Muhammad is a holy man. Everyone has to follow this. But at certain point, the whole idea in his head collapsed. He couldn't convince himself that this is true, this is good, this is godly. And he left the whole thing behind. And as I said, now, as many people are listening to him, this is a curse in a way on this ideology. This man now is acting as a curse. He's a blessing to humanity, but a curse on this ideology. So, if you have any question, please. Unfortunately, this man speaks only in Arabic. So, if you want some videos of him, you have to know Arabic so I can send it to you. Thank you very much. We hope to hear from you and goodbye.